Welcome to the next set of classes, and these classes are on pituitary hormones. And The pituitary hormones are these are the different classifications of the pituitary or types of pituitary hormones that are involved. First is the growth hormone or GH. ACTH is the adrenocorticotropic hormone. TSH is the thyroid stimulating hormone. PRL is prolactin, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone, oxytocin, and antidiuretic hormone or vasopressin. Right. We are dealing with the pituitary gland, and the pituitary gland has two major regions: the posterior lobe and the anterior lobe. So these are the hormones that are synthesized from both of these lobes of the pituitary gland. So the posterior lobe has the significance or the function of secreting two major hormones, that is the antidiuretic hormone and the oxytocin hormone. Whereas the anterior pituitary is important in the secretion of growth hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, TSH, PRL, that is prolactin, FSH, LH, and MSH. Right. So, which gland is being targeted by these hormones is given. Okay. So, we'll go into the details about each hormone. So these are the different cell types and the products of pituitary gland. So the cell type corticotroph produces ACTH and beta lipotropin, and the target is adrenal gland, adipocyte, and melanocyte. So thyrotrophs synthesize TSH, which is targeted to the thyroid gland. Gonadotrophs synthesize LH, that is luteinizing hormone, and FSH, which is targeted to the gonads. So the somatotroph are the cells which synthesize the growth hormone, and these growth hormones target the all of the tissues inside the uh, of the body, all the tissues of the body. And lactotroph of cells produce the prolactin, which is targeted to the breast and the gonads, right? So this is the percentage of the cellular population in the pituitary. So we'll go with each hormone one by one. So first is with growth hormone. So the growth hormone is also called somatotropic. So this is the structure of the growth hormone, and this is the structure where the growth hormone is bound to its receptor. And the growth hormone is synthesized by acidophils of the anterior lobe, and it is stored in very large amounts in the pituitary, and the daily output that is seen is 0.2 to 1 milligram per day with a biological half-life of 6 to 20 minutes. So what is the half-life? The half-life is the time period that half of the amount present or the growth hormone concentration present gets degraded. That is the time taken for half of the growth hormone concentration to get degraded. So that is around 6 to 20 minutes. So it has a fast half-life. So as soon as it is synthesized, it is within 6 minutes, half of the concentration of the growth hormone is decreased, right? So, and the human growth hormone is a single unbranched polypeptide chain which has around 191 amino acids. Molecular weight is 22,005 daltons, and it varies in structure from within different species and does not function through a target gland but exerts its effect directly on all. So there is no single target gland for the growth hormone. It exerts its effect on all the cells. And the growth hormone is degraded in the liver or the kidney, and it is transported in blood by the growth hormone binding proteins or the GHBPs. Right, so these are the different functions of growth hormones. So we can see that GHRH is the growth hormone releasing hormone. GHIH is the growth hormone inhibiting hormone. So the growth hormone releasing hormone is released by the hypothalamus, and it stimulates the anterior pituitary to release the growth hormone. Whereas the GHIH is also synthesized by the hypothalamus and it inhibits the release of growth hormone. Right, so the GHRH releases the growth hormone and it produces three major effects. First is what is called as a glucose sparing effect. That is, it stimulates the adipose cells to break down stored fat so that the energy needs are met and it spares glucose that is present in the system. And second is the growth effects. That is, it increases the uptake of amino acids from the blood and enhances cell proliferation, reduces apoptosis. So this is importantly seen in bone cells, muscle cells, nerve system cells, and the immune system cells. Third effect is the diabetogenic effect. That is, a growth hormone stimulates the liver to break down glycogen into glucose, fueling growth effects. Right, and this leads to insulin-like growth factor 1 release, which stimulates, again further stimulates the growth effects. So the glucose sparing effect, that is GH stimulates lipolysis or breakdown of adipose tissue, releases fatty acids into the blood. As a result, tissues switch from glucose to fatty acids as their main energy source. So less glucose is taken up from the bloodstream. So functions, first is diabetogenic effect, stimulates the liver to break down glycogen to glucose, which is then deposited in the blood. Diabetogenic is derived from similarity in elevated blood glucose levels observed in individuals with untreated diabetes mellitus and individuals with growth hormone excess. Right? So it indirectly mediates growth and protein synthesis. We've already seen this. Enhances cellular proliferation, inhibits apoptosis, and stimulates cells to increase uptake of amino acids for protein synthesis. So next we'll see the mechanism of action of growth hormone. So the growth hormone acts through what is called the somatomedin. It is a polypeptide that is secreted by the liver. And there are two types of somatomedins. One is the IGF-1, which we've already seen, that is insulin-like growth factor 1, also called as somatomedin C. And second is the insulin-like growth factor 2. So IGF-1 acts on bones and protein metabolism, and IGF-2 plays an important role in the growth of the fetus. So the GH is transported through the blood by uh, binding proteins and it also loosely binds to plasma proteins and it is released from the blood within 20 minutes from the plasma protein in the blood within 20 minutes. So somatomedin C binds with the plasma proteins very strongly and the growth hormone is released slowly from the plasma proteins, that is it can go up to 20 hours. So the somatomedin C produces a second messenger cyclic AMP and the GH receptor is called the growth hormone secretagogue and the GH receptor is situated mainly in liver cells, forms hormone receptor complex, that is the GH receptor, GHR and its hormone, that is the growth hormone. And it induces various intracellular pathways which results in somatomedin secretion. So here you can see the growth hormone is released from the pituitary and the growth hormone binds to growth hormone receptor on the liver and the liver suddenly produces insulin-like growth factor 1 and the insulin-like growth factor 1 executes the latter actions of growth hormone, that is it produces a feedback inhibition of the pituitary to stop the production of release of more growth hormone. It has a positive effect on the hypothalamus. And the IGF-1 has again a stimulatory effect on femur growth, that is a bone growth, and it has a positive effect on the muscle growth. So binding of GH to the hormone receptor, it forms a dimer structure, That is, it induces, we've already seen the system, that is for tyrosine kinases, where the receptor remains as a monomer, and binding of the hormone to the receptor activates dimerization. As such, the GHR receptor undergoes dimerization, and the GHR receptor is a special type of tyrosine kinase because it has a JAK uh, domain to it, and JAK is the Janus kinase. So it's written over here, Janus kinase 2. So the JAK kinase is contains tyrosine, which gets autophosphorylated. As a result, it also the JAK kinase also phosphorylates other cytoplasmic proteins and activates other pathways like the IRS1, and it's the insulin-like receptor substrate, insulin receptor substrate 1, the SHC, that is the SRC homology containing proteins, and the STAT5. So STAT5 is also signal transducer and activator of transcription. So all these are different proteins that are involved in different pathways. So the STAT5 will increase the gene expression of insulin-like growth factor 1. SHC with through the MAP kinases also activates the gene expression, whereas the IRS1 activates the PI3K, that is phosphatidylinositol 3 kinases, and this activates the GLUT transporter, the glucose transporter. So, uh, pegvisomant is inhibitor of the growth hormone receptor, which binds and like blocks the growth hormone binding of to the receptor. All right. So the prolactin receptor is structurally related to the growth hormone receptor, and its ligand activated homodimer recruits the same JAK-STAT signaling pathway. So growth hormone receptor also activates IRS1, which we've already talked about. So, and the growth hormone, different functions. Growth hormone is important in metabolism. That is, it converts amino acids to protein and stimulates growth. That is, again in fasting, it acts opposite to the insulin action, helps mediate glucose sparing, that is, stimulates gluconeogenesis. And in general, during anabolic or absorptive phase, GH also facilitates insulin action to promote growth. So during fasting or a post-absorptive phase, GH opposes insulin action to promote catabolism or glucose sparing. So in this figure also you can see that the protein intake is stimulated by growth hormone, stimulated by somatomedin, and also stimulated by insulin. So as a result, the somatomedin concentration increases protein synthesis, increases growth, and caloric storage also uh, acts in an equilibrium manner. Calorie storage, right? So whereas in carbohydrate intake, you can see that the growth hormone concentration decreases, insulin concentration increases, somatomedin concentration remains in an equilibrium state. So as a result, the protein synthesis growth, it's called an equilibrium state because the rate of synthesis will be equal to the rate of degradation, right? So there is no net growth or net protein synthesis that is happening. So again, the caloric storage will increase in this condition. Whereas in the fasting condition, again the growth hormone concentration is high. As a result, the insulin concentration is low. Somatomedin concentration is also low, and protein synthesis is low. Protein growth is low. As a result, calorie mobilization increases. That is, the stored calorie becomes mobilized. So the regulation of secretion, neurotransmitters are important for regulation of secretion, and catecholamines acting via alpha 2 adrenergic receptors, dopamine acting via the D1 or D2 dopamine 1 or dopamine 2 receptors, excitatory amino acids acting via both NMDA and non-NMDA receptors. So all these systems can regulate the secretion of uh, growth hormone, releasing hormone, and inhibits somatostatin of the growth hormone. So additional central mechanism, there is an ultra short feedback loop between somatostatin and GHRH on their own secretion. So this is the figure which indicates the same. Sleep produces a positive, sorry, sleep produces a negative effect on inhibition, sorry, on the brain. Stress produces a positive effect on the brain. Exercise produces a positive effect. Sleep actually it produces a negative effect, also produces a positive effect. I think it probably depends on the situation where it is going through. That is, the brain activates the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus produces GHRH, growth hormone releasing factor, and our growth hormone releasing hormone. And as a result, when it activates the GRF, the somatotropes are activated to produce growth hormone, which acts on the liver, produces insulin like growth factors, which has an effect on the muscle, bone, adipose tissue, and the growth results in growth promotion, right? And in the second condition, when the hypothalamus uh, is produces somatostatin, that is a growth hormone inhibiting hormone. It has a feedback loop whereas it inhibits itself, production of itself, and it also inhibits the somatotrope so that the growth hormone is not released. And the insulin like growth factor also produces a negative effect on the somatotropes as well as the hypothalamus. The growth hormone by itself produces a negative effect on the short feedback loops and the growth hormone releasing hormone. So, if it is the production of somatostatin also produces in the condition of sleep, it produces a negative effect. So, that's why it's given as both negative and positive effects, right? So this is about growth hormones.